Welcome back. It's Wednesday, and that means plants and gardens expert Craig Hignight is joining us live to answer all of your burning questions. Good morning, Craig.
Good
Thanks so much
morning.
for being with us. And yeah, be sure to head to our Facebook page if you have a question for us. We actually want to start off. A lot of people saying they're seeing poison ivy around. Any reason for that?
I've had a lot of questions about poison ivy over the last month. I'm lucky. I don't catch it. But I do know what it looks like, and you should familiarize yourself with what poison ivy looks like. The important thing is that there is a killer. It's called triclopyr. You can use it on poison ivy that's growing up trees. Triclopyr can't get through the trunk of the tree. If you're using the triclopyr in poison ivy killer around desirable plants, make sure you mask them. Keep the herbicide off your desirable plants. It'll take out the poison ivy for sure.
All right, we have one from Tim. My iris bed is in need of thinning out. When should I be dividing and creating a couple of new beds?
Well, you're just in time because July 4th is when we would be digging, dividing, and resetting iris. And the whole idea is you lift the entire bed, you go ahead and rework it, adding organic matter, of course, getting rid of all the weeds that have invaded over the years, and then you select the fan of leaves, the new fan of leaves, and about 4 inches of rhizome behind the leaf. Everything else, all that bare rhizome, that's compost. They're replanted in groups of 3, 5, in a spoke fashion, facing out away from each other, back in the ground, and that rhizome should just barely be below ground level when you replant. You're off and running for another couple of 3 years before the bed gets overcrowded again.
My black and blue salvia is struggling. All the leaves are turning dark brown on the edges. Any help?
Oh, I've had a lot of overwatering calls, and this is one of the first signs of keeping a plant too wet. I've got people that have been watering every day, and I can attest that at our house, we are not having to water anything every day just yet. Always make sure that you let the plant dry down a little bit, water thoroughly, remove the excess if it's got a saucer under it, and you will find that you are never going to kill a plant from lack of water. It's very easy to take them out with too much water.
From Karen, I have some royal purple smoke bushes that the deer have pruned. They have long, singular stems that stretch about 6 feet in the air. How and when can I prune them to form a more uniform plant? Also, can I use those cuttings to propagate new ones?
Well, you're going to have to wait until next year, after the first of the year, and you're going to reduce. I would say this at 6 feet, that plant's somewhat established. So next year, you're going to do a rejuvenation pruning. You're going to take those stems down to about 2 feet above the ground. As far as rooting those, I don't know of anybody that I know of that has had any luck with rooting the smoke bush.
When is a good time to divide iris?
Iris, there again, July 4th, time to rework those beds, and just plan on setting a schedule, and you should rework iris beds. And I know people are going to tell me, we've got iris beds that are 20 years old. Believe me, if you would dig, divide, and reset, they're going to be even better in the future.
All right.
All right, we are going to send it to break, and we will be right back with more of your questions being answered by Craig. Head to our WQAD Facebook page right now.
Welcome back into GMQC at 11. It is Wednesday. Our plant and garden expert Craig Hignight here, locked and loaded, ready to go to answer your questions. And we've got a lot of them. You can join our conversation on Facebook. We left off with Candy saying, good morning. I planted endless hydrangeas last fall for the first time. They're coming up beautiful. I just wonder what I should do now to keep them blooming because I am new to hydrangeas. I appreciate any advice you have to offer.
Well, the first thing we would have done this spring was take out any dead wood left over from last year. Probably it would be nice to give them a dose of something like plant tone fertilizer. It's an organic, very low analysis. With that rebloom, I assume this is a reblooming, so what you will expect is a flush of bloom starting about now. I haven't seen a lot of hydrangea bloom just yet, but then later in the summer, you're going to get a second flush of bloom. Like always, the most important thing is watch the watering. Let the plants dry down just a little bit and water thoroughly. When you do water, just don't drown them.
All right, Karen here. I have some royal purple smoke bushes that the deer have pruned, and they have long.
We've done that one.
Okay, so yep. let's go here to this other one by Tina. My hibiscus leaves keep turning yellow. Am I overwatering?
It's a possibility. I've had several people. It's that everyday watering again. And like I said, I'm not watering anything every day. If your leaves are turning clear lemon yellow, you've probably let the plant get a little bit too dry. If your leaves are turning yellow, but they're mottled, looks like they've got green freckles all over them, and if your plant is dropping the flower buds before they open, you're probably keeping it a little bit too wet. Maybe just let it dry down a little bit better. And like I said, if you've got a saucer under that thing, get rid of it.
From Jim and Jen, aphids are invading my sunflowers. Can I use dish soap?
Not dish soap, baby shampoo. Baby shampoo, dish soap has detergents in it. This is hard on the plant. Baby shampoo is just a soap. It doesn't have detergents in it. What you might try and do is take a hose with a on-off on the end of it, get it down to a really tight, strong stream, and just wash the aphids off. Quite often, that clears them up and they don't come back.
How do I know when to divide my jade tree?
The what?
Jade tree.
Jade? I don't know that you ever need to really divide a jade tree. Most people want them to get larger and larger, but now would be the time. If that plant absolutely has to be divided, I like to see that kind of transplanting done late spring, early summer, so you have a chance to get both plants reestablished before summer's over. And remember, you're not going to take two halves and put them in big pots. You're going to take those two halves and put each one in a pot about the same size as the original plant was in.
All right, last one from Tim. I planted black-eyed Susan this year, and I haven't seen anything come up yet. When should I see them come up?
Well, I would hope that they would be up by now. Have to remember, if you planted them from seed, you are not going to see any bloom in the first year. Black-eyed Susan, being like most perennials, they have to grow for 1 year before they start blooming in the second year and then out in years past that.
All right. Thank you so much, Craig, for being with us on this Wednesday. And be sure to join our Facebook Live with Craig each and every Wednesday. And there you can submit your questions and be part of the conversation. Here's a live look.